One of the things I've been doing a lot lately is listening to audiobooks on my phone. I go for a walk at lunchtime, I walk my dog, and I use that time to listen to an audiobook. And when I'm reading a book, especially when I'm reading a nonfiction book, I like to take notes. And I've kind of gotten in the habit of taking detailed notes and then also processing those notes after I'm done with the book and putting them into my note system on my computer. The problem I'm running into is if I'm listening to an audiobook, how do I take notes? How do you jot down something that was just said that is pretty insightful, or that you want to remember, or even that you want to return back to later? So there's a lot of options. None of them are really that great, I don't think, but I've come across one method that I've been using for a little while now, and I think it's maybe worth sharing. So here's what I do. Let's say I'm listening to this audiobook here, Finding Ultra by Rich Roll, which I am listening to, by the way, just finishing up. So if I come across a passage while I'm listening that I want to take note of, the first thing I do is I back up. So I use Spotify for my audiobooks, and I just hit the back 15 seconds button a couple times until I'm back maybe 10 or 15 seconds before the passage starts. The next thing I do is I drop down my speed. So you can see I normally listen to books at about 1.5 times speed. And in this case, I'll drop it down to 1 times, or sometimes even I find it works better if I use 0.9 or 0.8 times speed. And once I hit the play button, because it's going to be playing the book, I'm going to tell you ahead of time. So once I hit the play button here, I'm going to go open another app. And that app is, let's find it here first. It's this green one here. And I'm going to hit the app info to show you guys. So it's called Live Transcribe and Sound Notifications. Now I think this comes with Android, or possibly it comes with the Pixel, because that's what I use, Google Pixel. Because if you don't have it on your list of apps there, the other way to get to it is up at the top. I'm going to view my notifications, and you can see here I have Live Transcribe here as well. It's the second one underneath my internet. So you can open the transcribe from here, or you can open from the app. So I'm going to go ahead and click the app icon. One thing you'll notice is that it starts transcribing whatever it hears. So whatever I'm saying right now is being transcribed right on the screen. One thing I want to point out is there is a settings button in the lower left. Down below that is more settings. And there is an option to keep the transcription history for 3 days. And so sometimes I'll do that. If I'm out going for a walk and I'm just capturing notes, I'll just keep the transcription history for 3 days. And that way I know I'll have to come back and kind of process those notes before that 3 days is up, or I'll lose them. So I kind of wish it wasn't just for 3 days. I wish it kept it for longer, but 3 days is pretty sufficient. But the other thing I do is I hit the delete history, and I'll show you why in just a minute, but I'm going to go ahead and hit that now. And that's going to delete all of the transcription history that's currently saved. All right, now I'm going to go back to the audiobook and hit the play button. And then I'm going to open up the transcribe again.
Is that you set aside your mind and open your heart. The river of consciousness is always flowing. It's a renewable, unlimited energy source awaiting your arrival and available to all. Approach its shore and step into it.
All right, so you saw that I just got out of the transcribe feature once I was done capturing my note. Now I want to go grab that note, actually, and I'm going to put it in my TickTick. So I'll show you how to do that. So you got to scroll up, and notice that it's still going to capture what I'm saying. I'm going to highlight a word and press Select All. Copy. Then I have a TickTick widget here that just adds a task right to my inbox. I'm going to go ahead and hit that. And I'm going to come down here to the description and long press and press paste. And come up here to the title and put book notes. and then save that right to my TickTick. And so now if I open up TickTick to my inbox, you'll see book notes is here, and it captured, at least the first part, was the audiobook. And so now I can clean it up. And, Transcribe doesn't get every word exactly right, and sometimes the commas and the punctuation is out of place. And so you do have to go back and clean it up. But I find that this works relatively good, especially when you're out listening to an audiobook and you don't have pen and paper handy. Now, if I'm sitting at my desk for some reason listening to an audiobook, normally I don't do that. Normally, if I'm sitting at my desk, I would read the actual book. But if I was listening to the audiobook, I would use pen and paper. But if I'm out, it's really hard to use pen and paper, right? So, especially if it's a long passage, you're trying to jot it all down while you're trying to take a walk, and that becomes difficult. So this way, at least you can capture it. And the other thing I might do while I'm capturing the note is once I pause the audiobook, I'll go back and say, this was from chapter 11. Or something like that. That way I can remember where it was from, because sometimes that also gets lost when you're taking notes, especially this way, if you're only capturing the passage itself, and then you may not remember where exactly it was from in the book. So if you listen to audiobooks and you try to take notes on the books that you're listening to and reading, I thought this might be a useful way, or at least worth sharing way of capturing notes while listening to audiobooks. So let me know in the comments if you use Android and if you have the Transcribe feature. Does that come on every Android phone? And what about iPhone users? Do you have something similar? So let me know. Thanks for watching. Have a good one.